Nashoba. My name is Damon, and I hope you're doing well.
And I'm Emily Rasmus, and we are your hosts for the weekend edition. For this week's edition of the Viking News Network. Coming up, we have a sports and weather report and a look at current headlines around the world. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Hey, Emily, have you heard about the mill story?
Oh, well, actually I have, because now, I don't know about you, but personally, I still need to get last minute gifts for my family. However, thankfully for me, Lowell Mill 5 will be hosting a last minute holiday shopping market on December 24th. It will be held from 10 a.m. all the way to 2 p.m. And as someone has already attended some who has already attended some of the earlier markets, it truly is a place you must go if you've been trying to find the perfect gift. Last time I went, and I was able to find the perfect coffee for my dad and for anyone who loves old records. Mill number 5 has a whole store filled with them. Red Antler, a personal favorite of mine, has clothes, books, delightful soap and candles, and my favorite thing that I find so cool about this place is a cool station where you can create your own tea. It really is just a nice place for everyone, from families to teenagers. So if you have time, stop by, take a look around the market, and try some of the great food and drinks being sold around the place. Trust me, even if you think you've seen it all, you haven't. And now let's go back to one of our packages and let's learn about Yule.
Have you ever wondered why the heck do people think it's normal to bring a tree inside of their home every year? Well, you can thank the Scandinavians for that funky tradition. Yule is a holiday celebrating the winter solstice, originating in Scandinavia. Many Christmas traditions were adapted from Yule celebrations. Some Christmas tradition keystones, such as bringing a tree in to decorate, exchanging gifts, mistletoe, holly, wreaths, and even the color scheme red, green, white, silver, and gold, all came from this ancient celebration. Of course, let's start with the biggest shared tradition between the two, the tree. Both traditions involve evergreen trees being brought into homes and decorated. For Yule, the trees were brought into homes to symbolize life, renewal, and rebirth. It was also believed that it would encourage the sun to return. They would decorate it with ornaments and ribbon, and sometimes even lights like candles. So what are the differences between Yule and Christmas traditions? Aside from the obvious fact that they celebrate different deities, there were other traditions from Yule that did not get carried over to Christmas, such as the Yule log. The Yule log is traditionally used as the main piece of firewood during winter solstice. Today, many pagans decorate the log with candles, ribbons, and other symbols of the season. Another popular iteration of the Yule log is a cake baked into the shape of a log. And now, some rapid-fire honorable mentions for Yule traditions. The solstice walk, taking a reflective walk through nature when it's dark out. Another one, the Yule goat, thought by historians to be a way to worship Thor. And it is a large goat statue made of straw, often seen during the solstice in Sweden today. And finally, the Yule cat. According to the lore, she will eat anybody who does not receive new clothes for the holidays. Thanks for listening and happy holidays!
Yep. Speaking of holidays,
It's the holiday season, Rasmus.
yep.
Children and adults love receiving gifts during the holiday season. Donating to Toys for Tots is one of the ways to give back to people in need. There are a whole plethora of Toys for Tots Drop-off locations around the Westfield area. There are over 800 communities nationwide where you're able to drop off your Toy for Tots. Also, the Toy for Tots collection date already ended, December 11th, but you can still donate next year. Make sure all toys are unwrapped and new, and preferably prices above $10 in value. Here are some of the lists for some Toys for Tots locations in the Westfield area. Bill Ricka, Moose Lodge, 2648. Barnes and Egan Retail Group, Townsfield Animal Hospital, Maxwell's, and Village Variety. Happy holidays and have a safe and warm vacation. And now for our Nashoba Tech Sports Report. The Boston Celtics beat the Kings in their outing of 144 and 119. Jaylen Brown and Derek White both contributed 28 points to the win. They now sit at a record of 12-6. The next game is Saturday against the Clippers at 3:30. The Patriots lost against the Chiefs 27-17 last Sunday. Bailey Zapple was the primary QB with 180 yards. The next game is next Sunday against the Bills. The Bruins, who are 19-5-6, lost their game against the Minnesota Wild 4-3. The goals were scored by David Pasternak and Braden Marchand. The next game for them is tonight against the Winnipeg Jets. The Red Sox are still in the offseason making moves and trades. The spring training starts late February in 2024, and it regularly begins March 28th against the Seattle Mariners. And that's your sports report. Back to you, Erasmus, with
Wow.
so much more.
Thank you, Damon. Now we actually have more sports as we have a video covering the recent dodgeball tournament we had at Nashoba Tech.
And there's also the basketball reel, too. So take a look. Wow, that was a incredible package.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Mr. Massa, just getting smashed, obliterated by that pie, and the dance moves out of my league. I would never be able to do that. Incredible dance work right there.
Now, I know that's exciting. However, I do think we should actually move on to talk about something a bit more important. As we all know, Christmas isn't the only holiday in December. So let's go on to look at a video about Hanukkah. Oh, wait.
Way back in the day, there was this Greek king who decided to outlaw Jewish practices. And they took a temple that was in Jerusalem and converted it into a temple to Zeus. So a group of Jewish people, known as the Maccabees, decided that they weren't going to let their ability to celebrate their faith be impacted. And so they took the temple back. And in order to basically like purify or rededicate the temple, they had to light oil and menorahs inside the temple. So it's supposed to be a thing where the candles are lit, and there's always supposed to be a light inside a Jewish temple. But they were burning at the time, instead of candles, it was olive oil. And because of the way that the Greeks had treated the temple and the oil jugs that were there, they only had enough oil to burn for one night. And the miracle is that that oil lasted for 8 days. So that's where the story of Hanukkah comes from. It's really a celebration of a small group of Jewish people who fought for their right to be Jewish and celebrate the Jewish faith. The idea behind the Hanukkah menorah is the one that's in the middle, or the one that's the higher above, is the shamash, and you use that to light the other candles. And each of the other candles represents the days that the oil lasted. And then it's really about being with family. It's eating foods that tend to be fried in oil or cooked with oil or that are greasy, because it's a holiday about oil, as my mother-in-law has said, and as a comedian that I like has said. If you really kind of want to know what's going on in a Jewish holiday, you go, what are we celebrating and what are we eating? And so because of the oil thing, there's a lot of oil-cooked foods in our celebration of it. My favorite song to play during Hanukkah is probably, a lot of people would say, there's no Hanukkah songs. There are lots of Hanukkah songs. I was really surprised marrying into a family, find out how many there are. But the songs I tend to go to really come back to a group called the Maccabees. And so they're kind of an a cappella group. And so they've taken a bunch of modern songs and reworked the lyrics to be around Hanukkah. So the one I like the most is called Candlelight. So they take Teo Cruz's Dynamite, and then they use that beat, and then they change the lyrics to talk about the story of the fight of the temple and like the modern traditions that people do, like making latkes and spinning dreidels, and that's one that kind of has a special place to me for, I don't know why, it resonates. It's been a tradition my wife and I have had that we do with our kids, where when we light the menorah, we try to pick the candle night that we think is going to burn out first, and we try to pick the candle night that we think is going to go the longest. And so it's always kind of fun to just sit there and be together and just have this moment where we're all kind of rooting for a burning candle. It's really weird, but it's also just kind of fun to be together and kind of let everything else that's happening melt away and not be an issue. It's just something our family does that, to me, it's nice to think that we do something kind of unique that we all enjoy.
The war went on and on and on until the mighty Greeks were gone. Yeah, I put my lockers in the air sometimes, saying, yeah, oh, spin the dreidel. Just wanna celebrate for all late nights, singing, yeah, oh, like the king.
We are back. All right, now I have my story on holiday season and Christmas lights. So, everybody loves the holiday season, including me, of course. I know me and my family love driving around during the holiday season, looking at the Christmas lights, and of course, looking at the holiday blow-ups. Sometimes it's a pain to drive around, and you're just wasting precious dinosaur juice, also known as gasoline. So, in the comfort of your own home, I took some pictures off the internet, of the interwebs, to show you some Christmas lights. So now, sit back and relax. Now, so now we're going to the one and only Emily Vasmus for her next story.
Yeah, so on that same topic, as we all know, people driving, all of that can affect some holiday traveling. So recently, the Massachusetts Department of Transportation is encouraging members of the public to plan for a lot of traffic, as public transportation is expected to be higher than normal. Last year, around this time, my dad was able to drive to Brooklyn and back in just about 6 hours. Now, however, it took them a little bit over 10 hours this year. That is insane. However, at least it won't be as bad as airports this week. TSA is expected to scan at least 2.5 million people nationwide per day until January 2nd, which, if it happens, could lead to the second busiest holiday travel period on record since the turn of the century. It is expected to be bad. It is expected to be bad that travelers are being urged. It is expected to be that bad that travelers are being urged to arrive at least 2 hours before their scheduled flight. And to prove you that this holiday for travelers will be crazy, Mass has already said that high occupation lanes will be closed on Monday, December 25th and on Monday, January 1st. At least we can expect no more storms to come through to further make traveling slower. But, of course, it is a bit of a sad thing knowing that Massachusetts will be missing out on snow. Bad for us, of course, not for the people that would need to be traveling through it. But let's now go to the weather.
Now, for the weather, we have Emily Vasmus. This is definitely on the wrong camera.
Recently, with the storm that came through, Logan Airport experienced 68 miles per hour winds. That is crazy, but we won't be dealing with that as today for our current climate, current weather. We have decently warm weather. For our high, we have 30. For our low, we have 23. It's not going to be cloudy. It's going to be mostly sunny, great. And then for the rest of the week, we have our weekly forecast. For Saturday, we have a high of 38, a low of 31, partially cloudy. Sunday, we have a high of 41, a low of 37. Monday, our Christmas holiday, we have high of 44, low of 37. On Tuesday, we have a high of 47 and a low of 43, and it is looking like a cloudy Christmas day, so get ready for that.
Well, thank you very much, Emily, for the weather. Now, our next story is for the making of meringues. Sounds very scrum, diddly, umptious.
Hi, and welcome to Nashoba Shows You How. Today, I'm going to be making meringues, a very simple gluten-free cookie to give to all your friends for when they're hungry for cookies. Merry holiday. To make these, you will need 1 1/4 cups of granulated sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 3 dozen eggs. Just kidding, I lied. It's only 4. You will also need to separate the eggs and store the yolks somewhere else because they will not be needed for this recipe. The tools needed for this recipe are a stand mixer with a whisk attachment, an oven, and this thing. Goodness gracious! Just kidding, you need like a pipette bag, which can be achieved by getting a Ziploc bag and cutting a hole in the corner of it. I have icing applications tools, so I'm going to use the spiky thing in a dedicated pipette bag. First, put the egg yolks in the stand mixer and whisk on high speed until stiff peaks are achieved. I'm pretty sure these peaks are stiff. Then, gradually add the sugar and vanilla until well blended. Pour the meringue batter into the pipette bag and pipe out onto cookie sheets with parchment paper. I am not using parchment paper on my cookie sheets because I have reusable little things. They're handy. They're called soap pads if you want them, I guess. Then, once you've piped out all of the batter into silly little shapes of your choosing, I decided to go with snowy little Christmas trees. Throw the cookie sheets into the oven at 225 degrees for 1 hour and 30 minutes. 90 minutes. When they're done, they should look like this.
My little Christmas trees. We're so holly jolly. Jolly holidays.
Enjoy.
Wow, those cookies just look so good. And you know, Emily, I just have a question for you. You know, how did they make those cookies so fast? Like, it was insane how quickly they made those cookies. Like, you know, I wish I could make cookies that fast.
You know, TV media just has a lot of talented people who can cook. But you know what? That's all we actually have for today. So thank you for watching. We're your hosts, Emily Rasmus.
And I'm Damon Abbots. And until next time,
Stay classy, Nashoba Tech.
happy holidays.
The typical week at school here is you're either in shop or you're in academics. If you're in shop, you're learning about your trade, you're learning everything that you need to know so you're prepared to go out in the field. And then on the other week, you're learning the academics, you're taking a math, a science, an English, or an elective. So you're getting a little bit of both at a technical high school.
The teachers of this school are going to give us the skills we need for the future.
As a teacher, I love seeing students go into vocational education because they really do have that leg up on other students from other traditional public high schools.
There's so many ways to get involved with the school because there's just an endless amount of options for different things you can do after school to become more engaged with your peers and other people in the community.
I became a mentor because I want to help incoming freshmen and get them into sports and clubs.
The Cultures and Communities Club is for people to talk about their different cultures.
Students here can either go off to college, they can go work in the trade that they were studying, they can even learn something completely new.
I see for my future probably working as a freelance graphic designer and also being an online artist.
I'd rather be working and learning something I'm passionate about, and there's so many different paths I could go down.